Reaching into your pocket and pulling out a $20 bill to buy coffee feels normal. It feels permanent. But the smart money knows that physical cash is a legacy system, and legacy systems get deleted. We are being boiled like frogs. First, they introduced credit cards for convenience. Then, they introduced Venmo and Apple Pay for speed. Then they lowered the IRS reporting threshold to spy on your side hustles. Now the cage door is swinging shut. 130 countries, representing 98% of global GDP, are currently exploring a Central Bank Digital Currency, CBDC. This isn't just digital money. You already have digital money in your Wells Fargo account. This is programmable money. The difference between the money you have now and a CBDC is the difference between a wild wolf and a dog on a shock collar. One answers to nature, the other answers to the master. The war on cash isn't about technology. It is about the ability to turn off your life with the push of a button. To understand the threat, we have to define what money actually is. Cash is a bearer instrument. If I hand you a $20 bill, the transaction is settled. It is peer-to-peer, no middleman, no permission needed, and most importantly, no history. A CBDC is the opposite. It is a direct liability of the Federal Reserve. It is not an asset you own. It is a digital entry in a government database that you are allowed to access for now. Agustín Carstens, the head of the Bank for International Settlements, the central bank of central banks, said it openly, "With cash, we don't know who's using it. With CBDC, the central bank will have absolute control on the rules and regulations that will determine the use of that liability." He used the words absolute control. Imagine money that can only be spent on approved items. Imagine money that cannot be used to buy ammo or meat or flight tickets if you've exceeded your carbon quota. It stops being money. It becomes a voucher, a company store script for the entire nation. But they can't just launch a CBDC tomorrow. People would reject it, so they need a Trojan Horse. They need to build the rails first. Enter FedNow. Launched in July 2023, FedNow is the U.S. Federal Reserve's instant payment system. They sell it as a benefit. Get your paycheck instantly. No more 3-day wait. And that is true. It is convenient. But FedNow lays the infrastructure for the central bank to bypass the commercial banks and connect directly to you. Right now, the Fed banks the banks. It doesn't bank you. But once every merchant and every citizen is plugged into the FedNow real-time rail, flipping the switch to a CBDC is just a software update. They are building the highway. They haven't decided which cars are allowed to drive on it yet. The smart money is watching the adoption of FedNow, not as a payment innovation, but as the installation of the surveillance grid. Why do they need this control? Is it just for power? No, it's for survival. Refer back to episode 003. The debt is unpayable. The economy is addicted to stimulus. But in the next recession, printing money might not be enough. They might need negative interest rates. In a normal world, negative rates are impossible. If the bank charges you 92% to hold your money, you will just take the cash out and put it under your mattress. Cash is the zero bound. It protects you from negative rates. But if cash is banned, you are trapped. If the Fed wants to stimulate the economy, they can simply program your digital dollars to lose 1% of their value every month. You must spend it or you lose it. This is the ultimate Keynesian fantasy. The velocity of money enforced by code. They can force you to consume to bail out the system. Savings become a crime against the economy. This isn't theoretical. It is already happening. China is the laboratory. The digital yuan, ECNY, has been live for years. In 2021, Chengdu issued millions in digital yuan with a strict condition. It had an expiry date. If the money wasn't spent within a few weeks, it vanished from the wallet. Imagine getting your paycheck on the 1st and being told that any money you haven't spent by the 30th will be deleted. This destroys the ability to build intergenerational wealth. It forces the population to live hand to mouth. It turns citizens into pure consumers, running on a hamster wheel that spins exactly as fast as the central planner wants it to. The smart money fears this above all else. Wealth is stored energy. If the storage leaks, you cannot build capital. For a long time, Americans thought, that's China. That can't happen in a Western democracy. Then came February 2022, the Canadian trucker protests. Whatever you think of the politics, the financial precedent was terrifying. The Canadian government invoked the Emergencies Act. They didn't send in tanks. They sent in emails. They ordered banks to freeze the accounts of protesters and anyone who donated to them. No trial, no judge, just a frozen account. People couldn't buy food. They couldn't pay rent. They were digitally exiled from society instantly. This was the red pill moment for the smart money. It proved that your bank account is not your private property. It is a permission slip that can be revoked if you dissent. With a CBDC, this process becomes automated. You attend the wrong protest, your wallet is paused. You donate to the wrong candidate, your transaction fails. The final pillar of this system is total information awareness. The IRS has been fighting for years to lower the reporting threshold. They wanted to track every transaction over $600. Why? To catch billionaires? No. Billionaires don't use Venmo for $600. They want to catch you. The side hustles, the garage sales, the cash jobs. In a cash society, you have financial privacy. In a CBDC society, the government has a God view of the entire economy. They can see every coffee you buy, every magazine you subscribe to, every donation you make. This data can be linked to your carbon footprint or your social credit score. We are building a digital panopticon, a prison where the guards can see into every cell all the time. And the scariest part? You are paying for the construction of your own cell with your tax dollars. So if the cage is closing, where's the key? The smart money is building a privacy stack. Assets that sit outside the digital banking system. 1. Physical cash. While it is still legal, keep a portion of your emergency fund in physical bills. It is the only transaction that works when the power goes out or the account is frozen. 2. Gold and silver. Physical bullion is the original decentralized finance. It has no counterparty risk. It cannot be hacked, frozen, or deleted. It is anonymous wealth. 3. Bitcoin. The smart money views Bitcoin not just as a speculation, but as shelling point for freedom. It is a digital bearer asset. If you hold your own keys, nobody can freeze it. It is the optical opposite of a CBDC. 4. Decentralized finance, DeFi. Learning to use tools that don't rely on centralized intermediaries. The war on cash is a war on your autonomy. You cannot stop the system from being built, but you can build your own lifeboat. They will sell it to you as convenience. They will tell you it stops terrorists and tax cheats. But remember, a system that can stop a terrorist with the push of a button can stop you with the push of a button. Convenience is the bait. Control is the hook. This is the smart money wisdoms. The future belongs to the free. If you like this type of content, like and subscribe. See you next time.